You don't always see the good, but too many folks see the bad rather than the good. They don't see the best but the worst. Not the beautiful but the ugly. Not the creative but the ungifted. And not God in you but the forsaken, failed, and frightened child in you. You're not always acquainted with your best and better self. Some of us know the distorted and bad images that others have painted of us. And we sometimes internalize those bad images, and we go through life thinking we're bad and that there's nothing good in us. Other people don't have to put you down. If you think you're bad, you'll put your own self down. But let me make it live a minute. Just look at how African Americans and poor people are especially portrayed in the media, in movies, and on TV. You would think all of us are criminals, murderers, thieves, violent, rapists, losers, lazy, shiftless, and good for nothing. We are imagined as being inferior. Nobody's a people that really do not matter. Bible next one said that the worst thing that slavery did to us was not that it put chains on our hands and feet, but taught us to hate ourselves. And when you internalize these negative images, we actually turn against ourselves. We act it out in our dress and in how we treat each other. And that's why it is imperative that our children are loved, affirmed, and appreciated at home and school as well as throughout our communities. They grow up being told that they are stupid and dumb. They get it at home, they get it at school, they get it from their peers, they get it from their community. They hardly ever receive an encouraging word. And over time, these narcissistic injuries become self-destructive behavior. When you hate yourself, you fight against yourself. As Bigger Thomas did in Richard Wright's Native Son. He internalized oppression and turned it into self-destructive behavior. But worse still, and I don't really understand it, but the more people mistreat you, oppress you, and take advantage of you, the better you treat them and want to be closer to them. The more others abuse us, the more subservient and subordinate we become. Nobody grasps this better than the historian and educator Connor G. Woodson, who wrote in The Miseducation of the Negro, when you control a person's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and stay in it. You don't need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there is no back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. You can never feel good about who you are when you're out of touch with your best and better self. And when you allow others to put you down and keep you down, whether you're a person of color, woman, or whatever, sooner or later you will turn against yourself. But when you discover and know who you are and whose you are, when you discover that there's another image that represents the best and the better in you, help me, Holy Ghost. When you discover that you're made in the image and likeness of God, people can call you what you're not, but you're not in that matters because you know who you are. Do I have a witness? And I don't know about you, but I'm glad this morning when the psalmist wrote that when God made us, he made us a little lower than the angels, but he imparted to us and in us glory, honor, dignity, and power. And that makes us somebody. Do I have a witness? I'm so like that little boy that said, I know I'm somebody because God doesn't make no junk. Know thyself. Know that you are blessed. Talk like you're blessed. Walk like you're blessed. Stand up like you're blessed. Strive like you're blessed. Struggle like you're blessed. Or take what God has given you as if it's your blessing. Help me, Holy Ghost. Know thyself. But not only that, somebody else had something to say about self. Not only must you know yourself, but you ought to be yourself. Shakespeare put it this way: to be or not to be. That is the question. It's a question about what kind of person you want to be. What kind of character it is that you wish to cultivate. Hamlet sees it as a choice and not as one's fate. Nobody was born to be a loser. Be thyself. Nobody can beat you at being you. Nobody else like you has ever been born, and no one like you will ever be born again. You are the only one like you. And if you miss being yourself, you miss the essence of who you are. And what God has for you, as the songwriter says, what God has for me is for me. To be is one of those auxiliary verbs which are used to help out the other tenses. You know that. You cannot verbally express going anywhere without using one of those verbs to be. The past tense, I was, which describes where you have been. The present tense, I am, which means being present in the here and now. The future tense is, I will be, which describes where you're going. In other words, you are never a finished final product, but a continuous process of becoming that connects you to your past, your present, and your future. Today was birth and yesterday, and tomorrow is in a state of pregnancy today. I am a child of history and destiny that's locked in a process of becoming, so that every day I am unfolding and revealing me to me. I'm always on my way, because before I was born, I was first an idea in the mind of God that became translated into a human being, so that I was born with a sense of purpose as well as a sense of destiny. So I'm always on my way to fulfilling my destiny. We're born to go somewhere. That's why the choices we make are so important, because we create ourselves daily through the choices that we make. Help me, Holy Ghost. Let me make it real for a moment. There was a woman by the name of Mrs. Goldstein who was walking down the street with her 2 grandchildren. A friend saw them coming. He stopped them and greeted them, paying particular attention to the children. He asked the grandmother how old they were, and she replied, "The doctor is 5 and the lawyer is 7.